You watching us live on Shiksha's Instagram and on Zoom. This is Bhagishri here from shiksha.com. I'd like to welcome everybody watching us from around the corner of the world. Thank you so much for joining us for today's session. And today's session will be all about counseling you, guiding you the right way. How do you face your GDPIs for getting into an estimate and a classy MBA colleges? So the exams are done, but now the admission process have started at the MBA colleges. And before getting into any MBA college, GDPI, that is the group discussion and the personal interview, is a very, I would say, very important phase that you have to cross and get into. So what exactly is required to be done during this phase, and how should be your presentation? What all things you need to keep in check? So we'll get on those things, we'll address your queries. But before that, I would like to welcome our today's expert, our speaker, our very beloved Sunita ma'am, who is a master career coach, founder of Leaders in Making. She has been into this field for long, long time, guiding and counseling, all sorts of and all levels of executives and business people. And she's here with us again. Ma'am, thank you so very much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for this humble and graceful introduction. And I'm so happy that I'm back on shiksha.com with one of the most important aspect of people's career, that is PGDBM program or MBA program. And I'm so happy that you have opted for this topic today. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. It's always an honor to have you with us on our platform, and we'd love to hear whatever guidance you have. It is always so good for all of us, right? From me to all the students out here.
Sure.
All right. I'd like to extend my warm welcome to all of you. I could see Aditi, Avantika, Moksh, Sheetal. Thank you so very much. Guys, I would take your queries. You don't need to raise your hands. You can start sharing your queries in the chat or in the Q&A. We would love to address all your queries. But firstly, let me know what all MBA colleges you are aiming at. Just type it in the chat. I want to see which all MBA colleges you guys are aiming at, right? A lot of people joining us on Instagram also. Thank you so very much. All of you watching us on Instagram can share your questions in the question box or in the comment section, right? And we would love to take up your questions and your queries. So, when we talk about MBA admissions, it's a long process. We know they sit for the CAT and the different MBA entrance exams, and post the result, they go into this group discussions. When the list comes out, and then for the personal interview, and finally you get to you get into your desired colleges. So coming back to the point, group discussion and personal interviews, which I have an understanding is a very important phase, when you pass it out and then you enter into the college. So you have been grooming and training students, to face a lot of situations like this, not into their career, not just the exams, but also into their, professional careers. So how does it differentiate between both, and what does it take for a student to be, to excel in this very important phase of their life?
It's absolutely true that it is definitely an important phase, but I would like to give an extension to that. It is not just the important phase of the time when you're taking admission. It is actually when you are framing your mind for your career. So when you are preparing for GD and interview, you should have an absolute clarity of your career story. When I say career story, you should be absolutely clear that what kind of career you are looking into, what kind of roles you are actually looking into. And post that, you decide a college, you decide a course, and then you prepare your mind for GD and interview. Now, what happens in the young generation, they think about their career story at the later stage, but they appear in colleges and they opt for a program, and later on they realize कि ये program नहीं करना चाहिए था, वो program करना चाहिए था. So while you're appearing for GD and interview, the first thing is that you should be sorted in your own mind. आपको clear पता होना चाहिए कि मुझे इस industry में, इस function में similar kind of roles में जाना है, and accordingly I have to frame my interview story, my career story, and accordingly I have to present myself in the group discussion. And then that's a second phase. But once you are sorted with your career story, you will decide that these are the colleges, and in these colleges, these are the respective programs wherein I'm going to apply for the admission and then I'm going to appear for GD and PI. Because if you talk about PI, the PI is all around your career story. It is about why you opted for our college, why you opted for this program, and why you are here, what you are going to give back to the industry and community. So initially, instead of just thinking about only GDPI, only appearing for the particular course or an institution, you have to first have that clarity in mind. फिर आप चाहे कितने ही इंस्टीट्यूशंस में इंटरव्यू दें, कितने ही इंस्टीट्यूशंस के लिए आप जीडी करें, बट आपको अपनी थॉरो अंडरस्टैंडिंग बिल्कुल क्लियर होनी चाहिए. Number one. Number two, second aspect is that you should be very thorough with the current affairs of the industry, players, trends, and of your country at least, and also of international affairs. Whether you are appearing for GDPI now or after CAT in November or after maybe next year in February, whenever you are preparing for GDPI, such an important phase, it is not the study of 1 month. You have to start preparing from now and then keep on applying in next 1 year as per your choice of institutions and in your choice of courses. I always tell people that when you are preparing for GDPI, please take a printout of the institution history and take the printout of the course you are applying, the content, because around that, the complete PI is going to revolve. And when you talk about GD, it is all about the current affairs, national, domestic, international, or the topic is going to be around MBA and its probability in the industry, in the market in next 5 to 10 years. So you have to be very, very thorough with these basic concepts. And when you are going through these kind of preparation, trust me, you will be prepared for any kind of GD and interview. Having said that, top 10 institution in India, outside India, the ball is going to be in your court.
Right. Thank you, ma'am, for that lovely answer. So, also, I would like to tell that this session is not just for students, but also for any professional or any recent graduate or any person who is looking to understand that how do you face an interview round. That could be your job also, that could be your admissions also, right? So, this session is here because the expert here, the mentor here, will guide you, equip you with the tools that you really need to stand out in this competitive world, right? To face the world when you're presenting yourself, right? So, when we talk about this, ma'am, we would like to have a basic understanding of how the GDPI process works. I mean, an overview maybe would help with that.
Sure. Now, when you talk about GD, let's talk about group discussion. See, it is very, very important for you to first analyze the topic which is being given to you. Don't jump up in the GD just because you have one idea and you are able to shoot out that idea in the group discussion. Group discussion is not a selection round, my dear friends. It is an elimination round. So you have to be very, very clear that when you are appearing in the room for group discussion, the first thing you have to mind is your tone and is your choice of word. And you have to choose the kind of body language you're going to use in GD. Never ever dominate the group with your aggression or aggressive tone. And when you're talking about group discussion, most of the time the group discussion is going to be on the current topic which is going on at its peak in the country or internationally. For example, when we are conducting this session today, what is happening in the country all over? It's all about elections. Trust me, in all the institutions, the GD will revolve around the current topic. Apart from that, the GD will also include the current trends of the course you are applying for in the institution. For example, you are applying for MBA in finance and you are sitting for that particular program. So it is assumed that if you are appearing for the GD, you will at least know the industry, you will at least know that what is happening in the financial domain of different industries domestically and outside. The complete GD is going to get revolved around that. Now, here are some important tricks and tips which you can really follow when you are applying for a group discussion. If you are aware of the topic, if you're very well aware about the facts and figures, then only make an opening in a group discussion. Otherwise, never make a step of taking the initiative to start a group discussion. Second, it is also very important that if you are able to analyze what the other people are saying and put your own viewpoint into that group discussion, that could be another way of winning points in group discussion. Now, last but not the least, if you feel that you're not aware about the topic, or if you're not able to analyze what other people are saying, you can definitely summarize the whole group discussion at the end. So you can listen to all the people in the group, and then you can summarize with your own understanding of the facts and figures they have presented. But while you are appearing in the group discussion, there is also some kind of luck, which is a very important role player. If the whole group is very aggressive, the whole group gets eliminated. So you have to be very, very sure that at least you are not getting a part of that aggression, and you are using the timings of the group discussion intellectually, tactfully. So if you know, you start. If you have some idea, speak in between. If you don't have any idea, speak in the end while you are summarizing. While you are sharing your words of wisdom, please be sure that you are formal all the time. The moment you are candid in any GD or even PI, you are out of the process. So be very thorough of the current affairs, domestic, national, and international. And second, the topic which are going to be relevant, current topics around the course you have applied for that institution. That is very important.
Right. Absolutely, ma'am. Thank you for
And
that
if you
answer.
want, I can now tell you about PI, because you told
Right,
me, ma'am,
absolutely.
tell about GD and PI.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Please.
Now, when you talk about PI, you have to be very thorough while you are there in that interview, in that room. Why this MBA and why MBA from this particular institution? And after that, what you are going to do. You don't have to prepare any fancy or artificial answers. Be authentic, be honest, be full of integrity as far as possible. Selection hoga, nahi hoga, don't put your mind on that aspect. But the moment you are very honest and full of integrity, trust me, you're going to win the heart of interviewers. And there lies the real selection. Now, if you talk about top premier institutions of MBA, they mainly talk about your experience in the interview, how you handled a team, how you handled a challenge, how you handled multiple decisions. I want all of you to note down these questions. How you handled multiple deadlines, how you handled a boss who was rude enough, how you communicated a decision to your teammates which was not in the favor of members, or the decision was not so pleasant. Your experience is going to give all the information to the interviewer, the way you are going to answer these questions. And when you are being asked with the most familiar question, tell me something about yourself, my dear friends, they are not listening to your personal family story. At this stage of your life, they want to hear your career story. Now, let me give you 30 seconds brief. What is this career story? From where you started, your educational background, why you opted for particular program after 12th, which stream you took, what career plans you have, what you have achieved so far with your educational background, with the projects, with the internships in hand, and where all this is leading in another 5 to 10 years. That is going to be a career story, and how you're going to support your career with the relevant industry relevant certifications to uplift and upgrade your knowledge. That is going to be your career story. That will be inquired the most in the interview, apart from the questions which I have shared just a while ago. And today, if you see about interviews, my dear friends, the most important question the interviewer, after this Viksit Bharat initiative of our Prime Minister Modi, every interview will talk about that how you are going to support any community, whether in college, outside college, near your home, to the nation, how you have been contributing or how you will contribute or give back to the society via these community or via your own initiative to the society. This is definitely going to be one of your key questions in the interview. So always be very, very formal. Choose a formal body language. Never get candid. Even if the interviewer is getting candid with you, don't flow with the flow. Speak clearly, speak confidently. Please mind your speed of English. It does not mean that you're absolutely full on in your speed and you're mugging up with words. Please complete your words. Be very clear the way I am trying to be as far as possible, most clear into my speech, into my submission to all of you. You have to be clear, you have to be concise, confident, and you have to complete the sentence what you are trying to say. So keep all these factors in mind when you are applying for any GD or any PI across globe for your PGDBM or MBA program. Over to you.
Unmute myself. Right. Thank you, ma'am, for that wonderful and very detailed answer. I think that will really help a lot of them out here. I'd like to pick up one question from Sundara Ganesh. Firstly, I'd like to welcome you today on our session. So, Sundara Ganesh say that how do we present ourselves in GDPI? And I think this is a very valid question that goes for everybody, all the students.
Yeah. See, it is always very important that you are formally dressed and you're carrying a formal file if you are allowed to carry one inside. Many times you are not allowed to carry anything inside the room. Please follow the protocol. Please follow the instructions. That is very, very important. Just knock the door and move inside once you are being asked to move, and sit once you are allowed to take a seat. And once you are there, until and unless you can just greet the panel or the person who is going to take GD, otherwise you have to formally wait for the person to start the GD. It is very important that you follow the protocol and you are most professional the way you can. You have to be formally dressed. You know, a lot of students, I have been to a lot of panels these days. A lot of students feel that, you know, casually dressed, you know, casual shoes add value to their character. Please understand that you're coming for a very, very professional kind of activity. You always have to choose the attire, your body language, your words, your verbal language as per the situation and as per the environment. Be absolutely formal. And while you are sitting in the GD, you don't have to ask that, ma'am or sir, can I speak? The moment they say, please start the GD, the moment I have shared in the recent past that how you have to handle that GD is up to you. If you know the topic, start. If you don't, or you know little, start in middle, otherwise in the end. Till the end, while you are winding up with the GD, please give your thanks to the person who was holding the GD and don't ask the result. They are in more hurry than you to give you the result. And when I say that the result will be displayed, you will be properly intimated if you are shortlisted. People who are not shortlisted, they are not going to get any kind of information, or the name will not be there in the list. You can send one follow-up mail if you're so keen, but trust me, there is one common concern. You're not going to get the feedback of your GD for sure. So don't look out for, feedbacks in GD. And yes, PI is definitely a selection round.
Right. Thank you, ma'am, for that answer. I'll quickly come to the next steps that that really happens out there. So, personal creating a personal statement is again very important. So, how do you go about creating or crafting a very compelling statement out there? And when we talk about excelling in the GDs, so what should be the do's and don'ts that should be in their mind right at the moment?
As shared earlier for GD, I have already told you that you have to go through the learning aspect on daily basis. If you are preparing for the do's and don'ts on the day of GD, that is not going to help you out. So yes, you have to keep on learning. And my only one way of suggesting how you can practice it more. Practice with your friends, formal, informal friends, maybe in a group if you are working, group of peers, or maybe two people in a very small group or in a very small couple kind of arrangement, wherein you are just brainstorming your idea on a particular topic. This is the way ongoing you can always prepare for GD. And as far as don'ts are concerned, as shared earlier, don't use any informal language. Don't try to be candid. Also, you are not supposed to carry your CV while you're appearing for any group discussion. You are not supposed to even inquire about any personal question related to the interviewer or the next process. The next process will be made aware to you well in time. So you have to be very, very careful of that sort. And yes, you are not supposed to even ask that when are we going to get the result? How was my GD? Ma'am, will the group will be selected? Be very, very formal. Once you are being asked to leave the room, just leave the room and don't try to take personal details of the interviewer or the person who is holding the GD. I have seen many times when I'm in the panel or I'm holding a GD, a lot of people come and says, ma'am, can we have your email ID in case we want to approach you, we want to learn from you. You know, these are very formal setting. The interviewer or the person who is holding the GD has been given a responsibility by the organization. They are not there to give you personal feedbacks or they are not there to make personal connect. So GDPI is a very, very professional process. Try to keep it as professional as possible.
Right. So, ma'am, coming to the body language, which is again very important. So, do you think that mastering the body language will really create an impact on the GDPI? And also during that time, there's a kind of anxiety and stress that goes around in their mind that actually reflects on their face. So, how can they control that and have that poised body language to face it?
This is actually a brilliant question, Bhagyashri, and I'm so happy that today you're talking about the wellness part, which is anxiety and stress. Very beautiful question. And let me tell you that I do practice wellness coaching across globe. It's very important aspect of our life. When we appear for anything, there is a natural anxiety, there is a natural stress. My dear friends, keep breathing while you're even sitting in the lobby area. One, as far as your body expressions are concerned, try to be absolutely clear and open with your eye contact. Number three, always have a smile on your face. The moment you feel that your heartbeat is increasing, you're feeling little stress, you're feeling anxietyful, please start taking deep breath as far as possible and don't move here or there. You know, once I was there in an MBA panel, and the moment I moved out for a natural call, I saw that a person was continuously moving in the lobby, and that person gave me an impression for his GD and PI. I remembered that the person was full of anxiety and stress. So if you are feeling anxiety and stress, please do some breathing exercise at that particular moment. Concentrate on your own thought process, on your own analysis of your career, of your professional life, and you are sorted with that particular duration. When you talk more, when you move more, or when there is too much of body movements or language, you actually disturb yourself during that time. So the best way, in a very comprehensive, in a very comprised manner, is to taking deep breath and only be very, very focused in that movement. Don't think about what you did in the last interview. Don't think what is going to happen after GD, how you're going to appear in the interview, whether you will get the admission or not. If you will get the admission, what you will do. If you will not get the admission, what you will do. All the thoughts which are not related to present, but the thoughts which are related to past or future are the cause of anxiety and stress. Be in the present movement and practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is be in the present, use the present completely, enjoy the time, appear in the GD and interview without any pressure. If there is no pressure, there will be no anxiety, no stress of past or future. So be in present.
Absolutely. So, when we talk about GD and PI, so a lot of time, a lot of tricky questions, comes up in front of the students or so. what is the right way to handle those tricky questions? And also, ma'am, do you think that practicing GDPIs before like the mock kind of thing really helps them, when they are facing the final thing?
See, I always prefer and tell students do mock with unknown people because known people know your strength very well. And it's another a good question when you say that tricky question. See, always be honest in your answer. Don't frame stories if you're not aware about the question or the answer. If you feel that the question is not being understood by you, please tell them to repeat the question or reframe the question. Be very open and honest. Second, if you feel that you are not able to have an answer at the moment, you can take time. You can say, ma'am, can I take a pause for 5 to 10 seconds before I work on my thoughts or before I take a sequence of my thought? Or if you feel that you are not getting any idea about that particular question, how to answer, simply tell them that, ma'am, I'm not able to answer this question right at the moment. Maybe I will analyze it at the later stage and will try to come back to you the way you want me to report back to you. Always be very, very honest. Now, tricky question does not mean you have to answer it in a tricky way. The tricky question is being asked to check your personality, to check your values and ethics, to check how you face a challenging situation wherein you are not aware about the situation, how you handle that particular call to answer. All these things the interviewer is checking, not just the content of your answer. If there is a tricky question, you answer it dishonestly in a tricky way, you will get a big zero in that particular section. Trust me. We look for, all interviewers look for definitely a smart answer, but a smart answer can never replace, or a tricky answer can never replace a quality, honest answer. Be honest. Take time, buy time. If you can answer, you can. If you don't, please accept it. Acknowledge it and inquire from the interviewer. So can you guide me for the next time that if this is a question, what all areas I should look into? I look forward to your guidance, sir. This is the way of showing your personality, that you are so open to receive feedbacks. You're so open to receive guidance. You're so open to receive how you can articulate the answer, maybe in the next interview. But be honest. And yes, while you are answering a tricky question, please know that is being framed to block you in an interview, because interview is a selection round. The sequence of your answer is the most important aspect. The way you have articulated it, the way you have analyzed your wisdom, your experience, your understanding on that question, that makes a tricky question a best answer.
Absolutely. I think that was a very amazing answer. And I think all of you who are attending the session, keep a note of everything that has been mentioned. So, ma'am, we have received few questions during the registration process. I don't know if Moksh, if you are here in the session, Moksh Khandelwal. So, Moksh had this question that how to exactly answer what the interviewer wants to listen.
See, the only way to inquire about is you have to ask that how I should answer this question. You are not giving the answer as per the expectation of the interviewer. Please change your perspective. You are giving this answer with best of your own capability, your own wisdom, your own experience, your own knowledge you have gathered so far. The moment, please keep a note of this information, my dear friends, I'm giving it to you. The moment you shift your focus from giving the best possible answer to what the interviewer is expecting or will feel about your answer, you lose the focus on the interview. You lose the quality of your answer. So interviewer will have different parameters of expectations with every candidate. One candidate coming up with graduation, another brilliant institution, another candidate coming up with 2 years of experience, another with 5 years of experience. Is the expectation going to be same with all the three candidates? No. You have to answer in the best possible way, having the standing of your qualification or any kind of experience you hold. Give best answer, articulate it best. Do not compare it with the expectation of the interviewer. You will lose the focus on your answer. That is for sure.
You can share your questions here. Suhi says hi on Instagram Live. Hi, Suhi. Thank you so much for joining us on today's session. Another very interesting question that I see is from Vanshita. Vanshita, if you're here in the session, and she wants to know what's the difference between GDPI of an IIM versus the other colleges.
If you see IIMs, they only preferably take experienced people. They give 100% importance to your creation and innovation. How you can bring your own unique story in your essay writing, in your PI. They see what capability, competency you hold to create or innovate something new. That is why if you see the maximum of entrepreneurs, the big brands, small brands, medium brands, they are maximum time, they are pass outs of IITs or IIMs, because they are being modified, they are being taught in a way that they have to come up with their unique idea of creation and innovation. That's the difference between these top-notch colleges and the other colleges which just see your fitment for a PGDBM program or an MBA program. Whereas if you talk about these top 10 colleges, you have IITs, IIMs, you have, if you talk about MBA, IIT also have a lot of MBA program, executive program. There are a lot of buzz around their program. They have launched somewhere around 15 to 16 MBA programs, IIT. Go and have a look there also. Beautiful executive programs on AI, intelligence, data mining, lot of finance, even lot of programs are coming up in last 3 years from IITs. Go and check out for MDI, FMS school. They want creators, they want innovators. If you are only fitting in the curriculum, then you can choose any other college. So that's the basic major difference. Instead of joining a job, how you can create jobs, how you can create a community wherein the society, the people are getting benefited, but you're definitely getting your bread and butter. You're definitely getting the ROI of your investment. You have made time, money, energy. But how you're creating a different world out of your MBA, post MBA, that's a major difference between these colleges and the other colleges.
Absolutely. Sundar Ganesh says that what topics will they ask mostly in GDPI?
Same as I told you, current affairs. For example, another 1 month, people will only talk about your elections, the growth, GDPI, the GDP of the country, and how it is going to impact internationally. Little bit on sports if the IPL is around. And most importantly, the GD is going to be around a topic which is going to be relevant with the course you are applying. If you're applying for marketing, it is going to be around that. If you're applying for data structures, data mining, it has to be around that. If you're applying a course in finance, it will be around that. So be very, very thorough with the current affairs of that particular industry and functions and the trends.
So I hope that answers your query, right? I'll quickly come to the next question from Parth. Parth, if you're there in the session. So Parth has this question that what about the preparation for MBAs if the student is from an arts background? So is there any sort of differentiation that happens there?
Yes, if you're applying for MBA, you have to opt for at least 2 to 3 business related subjects. Coming from arts is not a issue. How you are opting or adopting the process and how you're making yourself ready is very, very important. Now, if you feel that you're applying for an MBA program into marketing and you're not thorough with the even the functions in marketing, कौन से departments हैं, you're not even aware about it and you're coming for GD and PI, that shows your lack of interest. So if you are from arts and if you want to apply for any particular MBA or any specialized MBA, please go through with all the curriculum and start reading from internet or Google that what is happening in the subjects. It's very, very important. And your focus, your passion, Your interest is going to set it all. If you are interested, if you are passionate, you will study. If you are not going to study, you will sit blank in GDPI. Then it is just a mere of filling of seat in B or C kind of institutions. The top institutions might not consider you because you have not shown enough passion that how this transformation from arts is happening to the MBA program. See, MBA is all about business administration. So if not a particular specialization, you have to be thorough with basic business related subjects, economics, business communication, financial modeling, human resources, basic subjects. At least you should go through and you should have some connectivity. Also, today is a very, very aware kind of youth, not compared to the time we were there 20 years back. What kind of internships, what kind of projects you have done, keeping MBA in your focus, keeping MBA in your career story, that matters the most. If you are from arts, you have not done anything, you have not read anything, it is just the waste of time for you.
So I think all of you can see the feedback polls on your screen. So I would request guys, please to fill up the feedback poll. It is very important to understand whether you have liked the session, whether you would love to recommend this. Also, we will be rolling out a survey in some time after the session, which will go on your emails as to, we have few questions related to the session and to our community. So we would love if you can answer them. Also, I have shared few links with all of you here in the chat. So please be part of Shiksha's community. Join us on our Telegram groups, join us in our LinkedIn groups. Trust me, these groups are for your own benefits. There are mentors, there are students, there are fellow friends who will be here part where you can share, ask your query, share your doubts. The mentors are here, who can actually see your questions and your doubts. So this community is for everybody, who are part of our session. So we'll be rolling out these links through various emails, through various sessions. So please follow us on our different social media platforms to stay connected and be aware of all the campaigns and all the webinars and all the sessions, live sessions that we are doing for all of you, right? So I'll quickly Sundar Ganesh, I think for any kind of specific question, you can connect with us post the session. You can connect with me on the Telegram group also, right? So there are people who can like answer you, specific questions. Thank you everyone joining us on Instagram. So if you have any queries, you can quickly share your question here before we, move to the wrap up of the session. As there's a lot of crunch of time, and ma'am is also running a lot of sessions. So we have to keep that in check, and keep the session on. So before we move to the wrap up, if you have any question, you can share it right away. Ma'am, we would love to see you in more sessions. We'll have more such sessions with you. Maybe you can suggest some more topics on which we can hold such webinars, for the students. But before we, end up the session, would you like to advise something to our students and everybody watching us?
Yes, I would definitely would request all of you people who are seeing this session right now or maybe in future, and even to this lovely host, such an organized host, always do self-coaching before you take an important decision in life. Self-coaching is also known as self-talk therapy. Ask yourself why you are taking this decision in life, why you want to opt for MBA, what aspirations MBA is fulfilling, why you are doing from a particular institution. Is it by choice? Is it by pressure? Is it by will? Is it by any kind of force? Please have an answer to every why before you hear the noises and the voices of the external world. Please hear your inner voice first, which is known as self-coaching or self-talk therapy. Youngsters do that less. They listen to their alumni, they listen to their siblings, their parents, especially their peer groups, what they are doing. But you need to sit down with yourself every day, 10 minutes time, and you have to ask from yourself, where am I heading from here next? Be it a course, be it another kind of decision, be it a certification, you're moving out of country, it could be anything for that sort. But you need to practice self-coaching, which is also known as self-talk therapy. That's my last piece of advice.
On this note and on this wonderful piece of advice, we would love to end the session here, but we will be coming with a lot more sessions and webinars. And for that, you need to follow us on our social media handles. I constantly update with all the upcoming campaigns and webinars that we're doing for the students. So please connect with us on social media handles for any more queries, right? And ma'am, thank you so very much for joining us on today's session. I know you're so busy with all your, classes and coachings that you're handling, but I'm glad that you could make time for our students and for our sessions.
You know very well that I'm just a message away from you. As always,
Absolutely.
it's the reciprocation of your honesty for your profession.
Thank you,
That's all
ma'am.
I
Thank you
can
so
say.
much. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. That
All
means
the
a
very
lot.
best. Take care.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you, all of you. Ma'am, you can leave the session
Sure.
out here.
Sure. Thank you.
So students, you can quickly fill up the form. And if you have any more query, you can join me here on the Telegram community group that I've shared. You can be part of our LinkedIn community also. And please put in your queries and doubts here. We'll definitely find an answer to your question. And thank you so very much for joining our session today.